Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. I'm Charles Kuralt, sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. As many as 200 inmates at the West Virginia Penitentiary overpowered guards late yesterday afternoon. They took 16 hostages and still were holding 13 of them late today when the riot apparently wound down with some of the inmates' demands being met. Bruce Hall reports.
Late this afternoon, rebellious inmates released 6 of their hostages and agreed to let the remaining 7 go tomorrow. The release came after 2 prisoners were allowed to go on local television to plead for better living conditions at the 120-year-old institution.
All we want is to be treated like human beings, like the people that we are.
State officials signed an agreement promising to improve conditions and negotiate some demands.
And we gave them the assurances that the governor and his representatives and the Department of Corrections and their representatives would sit down and seriously negotiate with the inmates.
The maximum security prison has long been the scene of controversy. A major riot in 1973 and a mass escape in '79. In 1983, a judge ruled the prison was overcrowded and ordered state officials to make improvements in living conditions.
We are not proceeding as rapidly as we would like. We are not proceeding as rapidly as the court would like.
Officials agreed to this afternoon's compromise after relatives began receiving calls from the hostages saying they may be harmed.
They said if they storm the place, someone will die. We are all separated. Love you and the kids.
Officials say none of the hostages have been seriously injured, but 1 inmate was killed during the initial takeover. Many of the families of the hostages spent the day near the prison, waiting. For some, there was good news this afternoon. But for 7 families, the wait continues tonight. The inmates say they will remain in control until the West Virginia governor meets with them tomorrow. Bruce Hall, CBS News, Moundsville, West Virginia.
The new year is but 2 days old, and already violence has claimed at least 20 lives in South Africa. Some died in fighting between black tribes outside Pretoria and near Johannesburg. Others were killed in clashes with police. But in Port Elizabeth today, thousands of blacks and whites sat side by side and sang together. As John Blackstone reports, they were remembering a friend, a worker for peace.
The crowd, singing songs of freedom and black power, filled the church and overflowed into the streets around. It looked like the funeral of a radical black leader who had died for the cause. It was, however, the funeral of a middle-aged, middle-class white woman, killed last weekend in a car accident. Her name was Molly Blackburn.
Molly proved it conclusively that being white does not in itself make one an enemy of the black people.
Molly Blackburn seemed an unlikely hero of the black struggle, but she often shared hardship and death in black townships.
There are 3 people here before us who were but 15 years of age. Their lives are gone, finished.
She was known simply as Molly in the black townships of the Eastern Cape province, and she was well known there not because she battled apartheid on the grand scale, but because she fought it on a small scale, helping individuals.
There are preciously few white people who have earned so much love and respect from us.
Molly Blackburn worked with an organization called Black Sash. Its members, all white women, work long hours helping thousands of blacks through the maze of apartheid laws. The women of Black Sash are among the most persistent white opponents of apartheid.
I suppose there is no other group of people in the world that live like white middle-class women do in this country. And that if you are a South African and you are committed to this country, that's a tremendous burden of guilt.
Today, young blacks gathered round Molly Blackburn's coffin and chanted, "She is a soldier." Many white South Africans condemn apartheid, but few become soldiers actively fighting it. John Blackstone, CBS News, Port Elizabeth, South Africa.
Ta mère est si belle, si mince. Est-ce qu'elle mange? Elle est bête. Un peu moins avec ça. Fiber trim, fait de grains et de citrus. Ça t'embête qu'elle soit si belle? Non, je connais tous ses secrets.
Fiber Trim, the European way to help you stay slim.
Quick, name the only sweepstakes in America where people have actually won cash millions each.
American Family.
No other sweepstakes can make that claim.
You awarded me millions.
For American Family, this sweepstakes with my picture, the first ever with a prize this big, $10 million.
We won millions. You could too.
$10 million, all for you. Watch your mail for the American Family Sweepstakes. It could make you rich.
Political murder, so common elsewhere in the world, is still so rare in the United States that it comes as a profound shock. An unemployed steelworker was arraigned on murder charges in Seattle today. The prosecutors say political hatred was the motive, and that he had his victim's politics all wrong. Barry Peterson reports.
It was a murder that stunned Seattle. On Christmas Eve, a man entered the home of Charles Goldmark. Beating and stabbing, he killed Goldmark's wife and one son. Goldmark and 12-year-old Derek remain in critical condition. How could it happen to such nice people?
The last time I saw his wife was the day before when she was giving her milkman the Christmas gift.
Police quickly arrested David Rice, who pleaded innocent today as his brother and father watched. Rice will be examined by a psychiatrist.
Something happened. It's totally out of his nature. Something happened that led him in that direction.
I have no idea. I don't know.
The alleged motive, as bizarre as the crime.
The motivation was political, related to Mr. Rice's belief that the Goldmarks were members of the Communist Party.
It was 2 decades ago that Goldmark's late father and mother were accused of being communist. They denied it, fought back in a famous libel case, and won. Rice may have read the book telling their story and somehow believed that Goldmark, the son, was a communist and Jewish. The prominent corporate attorney was active in Democratic politics, was a delegate for Gary Hart at the Democratic Convention, and like his father, was never a communist, is not Jewish. In the quiet neighborhood where the Goldmarks live, there is anger and fear and nightmares.
Somehow we in the neighborhood have to figure out how to pull ourselves out of this.
People have left flowers in front of the house. It will take a long time to get over, said one resident, to have had such horror in this season of joy. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Seattle.
Mary Lund, the first woman to receive an artificial heart, came out of her coma today, 15 days after surgery. Mrs. Lund sat up in her Minnesota hospital bed and responded to her husband's voice. The doctor said even though Mrs. Lund knew about her heart implant surgery in advance, she seemed startled today when told she has an artificial heart. She remains in critical but stable condition. The decision to stop or withhold life support treatment for the desperately ill seldom makes news unless it winds up in court. But a new study shows how widespread the practice is among one group of patients, and the study says the decision to choose death rather than a kind of life may become more common. Ned Potter reports.
3 or 4 times a week, 3 or 4 hours each time, these patients must be connected to kidney dialysis machines.
Oh, brother. I had a terrible time getting adjusted.
Some never do adjust, and a study published today shows that stopping their own treatment has become a common cause of death for dialysis patients. 9% of the patients or their families just decide to give up.
But they seem to dislike the cramped lifestyle that dialysis leads to. The treatment is somewhat uncomfortable, and some people just find it unendurable.
The average patient in the study had been on dialysis for close to 3 years. And while the reasons for their decisions varied widely, many had developed new complications which made life with a machine seem that much tougher.
Patients complain of the loss of freedom and of the wasted feeling that comes after several hours on dialysis.
Your whole body is spent. It takes a lot out of you.
Every now and then in this ward, a patient has a sudden loss of blood pressure. Nurses crowd around. But that's routine, another reminder of the delicate balance of a kidney patient's health.
Sure, it gets monotonous, it's boring, I get depressed. Why do I have to come down here?
Agnes Lund has been coming for treatment for 4 years and calls it a terrific second chance at life. But if more were to go wrong, she wouldn't fight it.
If I had to be a vegetable, just let me go.
Doctors say they're likely to see more of this.
I think that we have tended to forget in the hype of medicine that nobody lives forever, that there is a dark side to medical technology.
Increasingly, says the study, patients are making the choice that life extended is not necessarily life improved. Ned Potter, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Federal researchers reported tonight that pregnancy-related deaths of women aged 35 and older have dropped almost 50% in recent years. Still, the risk to older women is 3 times greater than for younger women. According to the study in the latest Journal of the American Medical Association, the improvement in recent years goes beyond advances in medicine to the nature of the women who are having babies later in life. Many of them are well-educated, upper-income women, well able to afford good medical care.
Want a good reason why my antacid is Tums? I'll give you 3. 1, Tums is effective. It neutralizes 1/3 more stomach acid than the other leading brand. And that's what I take an antacid for. 2, sodium. I don't want any. And Tums is sodium-free. 3, Tums is rich in calcium. And to me, an extra source of calcium is extra good news.
Your sink's clogged.
No kidding.
Get the all-purpose drain opener, Crystal Drano.
How about liquid plumber?
No, it may not work on grease. Drano works on grease, food, and hair. There's liquid Drano, too. Liquid plumber can't beat it.
Dove, that Drano.
That's why there's only one name to know, Drano.
Harriet, darling. She always looks so fresh and clean. How do you do it, dear?
Why, Vanish, of course. Vanish bowl cleaners get me clean and keep me clean.
Matters went from bad to worse between the United States and Libya today. Yesterday, Libyan strongman Muammar Gaddafi threatened war if the United States tries to retaliate for the terrorist attacks on the airports at Rome and Vienna. Today, President Reagan had hard words for Gaddafi. But this is not only a war of words, it's beginning to have a military aspect, as Pentagon correspondent David Martin reports.
Informed sources tell CBS News that American forces in the Mediterranean have been built up as part of what one Pentagon official called a prudent precaution in the event President Reagan orders a retaliatory strike against Libya. One source said he believes a Soviet intelligence ship has been relaying information about the buildup to Soviet advisors in Libya. One of the arguments against retaliating for last week's airport massacres has been the fear that Muammar Gaddafi would seize Americans working in Libya as hostages. Today, the State Department warned the 1,500 Americans now in Libya to get out.
All we can say is that given the nature of this particular regime, that you are taking a risk by remaining in that country.
President Reagan was asked what he thought about Gaddafi's threats of what he would do if the U.S. strikes. U.S. intelligence reports that Libyan armed forces have gone on full alert, putting their Soviet-built aircraft on runway alert, manning air defense radars round the clock, and sending their patrol craft out to sea. The Libyans are also rushing their new long-range Soviet-built anti-aircraft missiles into service. Some analysts estimate a makeshift air defense network could be operational in 2 weeks' time.
One U.S. official suggested the deployment of the Navy planes had been leaked deliberately in order to cover more sensitive preparations for an airstrike. All officials stressed the buildup in the Mediterranean does not guarantee an airstrike will take place. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
The chairman of the PLO, Yasser Arafat, had no kind words for President Reagan today. According to the Kuwaiti news agency, Arafat called Mr. Reagan a robot and a parrot who repeats what is dictated to him. And Arafat said there's no point of comparison between Mr. Reagan and former President Carter. Arafat praised Mr. Carter as a man of principles. A Greek woman wounded in the attack on the Rome airport last week died today in an Italian hospital. She was the 15th innocent person to perish. Most of the terrorists responsible were killed. Others were captured. It is still not known for certain who backed them or where their weapons came from. But Derek Blakely reports from Brussels there's more evidence tonight of a Belgian connection.
In Rome, the body of 30-year-old Don Mayland, one of 5 Americans to die in last Friday's terrorist attack, started home today. But as the body was moved to the airport, CBS News obtained a harrowing new communique signed by the Abu Nidal Palestinian terrorist group. It calls for increased suicide attacks against Israel and her allies, especially the United States. And it says the most effective way to conduct revolutionary violence is the so-called sacrifice guerrilla tactic. The communique, dated yesterday, made no mention of Friday's airport attacks in Rome and Vienna. Italian authorities are now looking toward Belgium for new clues, sending the chief Italian investigator there following the arrest of 2 suspected Arab terrorists. The 2 men arrived in Brussels Saturday on a flight from Athens. A computer check at passport control raised the alarm. The computer showed that one of the 2 Arabs had what police later described as links to a terrorist organization. For 2 days, police followed the 2 men, a trail that finally led to the town of Hasselt, 40 miles east of Brussels. The Arabs were met by the Belgian owner of this video shop, Daniel Ingalls. Police arrested all 3, and a search of Ingalls' home turned up a machine gun, 12 hand grenades, and 24 pounds of TNT, made in Eastern Europe.
He bought it to make publicity. He wanted to put it in his video shop with a poster of Rambo.
Tonight, the 3 Brussels suspects are being held in this prison, caught by an alert airport computer. And across Europe, security has been tightened at all major airports as officials look for new evidence and await potential new trouble. Derek Blakely, CBS News, Brussels.
In the wake of the terror attacks, the Italian government has promised to tighten security at the Rome airport. But not much has been done so far. So today, 3,000 airport workers put the pressure on with a 3-hour work stoppage. Among other things, the workers want metal detectors at the airport's main entrance. Most morning flights out of Rome were delayed today, but there were no cancellations. Prime Minister Shimon Peres warned today that Israel will retaliate if rocket attacks on its territory continue. Israel blames the attacks on Syria and Iran. Israeli military sources say 24 rockets have landed in recent days in northern Israel and the Israeli buffer zone in South Lebanon. A Soviet-made rocket hit the Israeli town of Kiryat Shmona today. Nobody was hurt.
Oh, when the pain in my fingers starts, it stops me from doing what I love. I used to take aspirin for minor arthritis pain. Today, I take Advil. Advil contains a non-prescription strength of ibuprofen, the medicine in the prescription brand Motrin. Just 1 Advil is as effective as 2 regular aspirin. That's important. Advil keeps me playing for hours, and Advil didn't upset my stomach. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
This beautiful southern mansion is home to the world-class cuisine of Anthony's in Atlanta. Tonight, we're secretly replacing Anthony's regular coffee with dark, sparkling, decaffeinated Folgers crystals. Will it be rich enough for our special guests?
It has a very good flavor to it.
Rich.
It's decaffeinated Folgers crystals. This is instant coffee. Are you serious?
That's
very, very
amazing.
good.
I'm really amazed because it is delicious.
Decaffeinated Folgers crystals. Coffee rich enough to be served in America's finest restaurants.
One thing you could always say about computers without fear of contradiction was, no matter how smart they seem to be, computers cannot think. Well, think again. Steve Young reports.
It's called AI Alley, home of the artificial intelligence industry. Mecca is MIT, where they hope to create a computer that can do what people do, learn by experience. There is no pianist. The sound of the piano is generated by a computer which rehearsed with a human violinist and learned to play with the same tempo and expression. The day's catch can be sorted by fishermen or this computer, which mimics the human thought process, deals with abstract concepts, and has learned to judge the difference between haddock and cod. To simulate human thought, the artificially intelligent computer must draw logical conclusions the way the brain does, juggling thousands of concepts at the same instant.
Success would be making a machine that would be proud of me.
Trying to put wisdom on a floppy disk, artificial intelligence specialists have asked experts, in this case cardiologists, to explain the steps they go through in reaching a judgment.
What goes out must come back to the heart.
The rules are so complex they can only be programmed in a special artificial intelligence language. One system providing a second medical opinion is now under test in a Providence hospital. It used to take $1 million machine to create artificial intelligence programs, but a language has been developed making it possible on a personal computer.
What we're selling now is a, quote, toolkit. It's like going to the hardware store and buying your hammers and nails.
The toolkit is being snapped up by software programmers eager to make computers smarter, and investors are betting the public wants computers it can reason with. More than $1 million came in the other day from venture capitalists.
I want to pass the money around. I want everybody to touch it.
After years of being considered the lunatic fringe of computer science, artificial intelligence is beginning to turn computers into companions. Some predict it will be a multi-billion-dollar business by 1990. Steve Young, CBS News, Cambridge.
To see one in the air above is enough to make your heart leap. But not many California condors are left, flying free. Soon there will be none. That is the deliberate and bitterly disputed decision of wildlife officials. Terry Drinkwater reports.
In prehistoric times, thousands of them soared over the mountain ranges of California. Today, only these six, just six, are left alive and free in the wilderness. But the six will be captured and caged. The government, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, insists putting them in zoos is the only way to save the mighty condor from extinction. In the wilds, they are dying so quickly, mostly from lead poisoning, that ornithologists fear many will not survive the winter.
The female of the Santa Barbara pair has elevated lead levels where she did not 3 months ago.
Most of the 21 condors already in captivity are too young to breed. The six about to be trapped are mature and would reproduce more successfully in zoos, according to government experts. But the Audubon Society, which wanted the government to buy lands for condor habitat, sharply disagrees.
It's a very bad idea, and it was a dumb decision. It'll undercut all the habitat protection activities by everybody involved.
The Society also questions, even if the breeding in captivity program works, would once caged birds, when freed, ever be able to survive in the wild? They think not. Nonetheless, the hunt is about to begin. The traps will be sprung again tomorrow morning, and the last of this largest bird to fly on this continent will fly free no longer, perhaps for years, perhaps forever. Terry Drinkwater, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Now, where it really counts, advanced technology comes to the American home. The Pulse gas furnace, only from Lennox. Unique Pulse technology sends energy efficiency up, keeps heating costs down, making gas an even better buy. Your Lennox dealer has the right Pulse for your home.
Take it from Dave Lennox. You can count on big savings with the Pulse.
Atta boy, Dave. Gas, America's best energy value.
When you need it most, you can get extra strength relief from acid indigestion with extra strength Riopan Plus. In lab tests, it neutralizes twice the acid as regular Maalox or Mylanta. It's that strong. You can also get extra strength relief from heartburn with extra strength Riopan Plus. Ounce for ounce, it neutralizes twice the acid as regular Maalox or Mylanta. It's that strong. Extra strength Riopan Plus. Regular strength, too.
No two offices are exactly alike, but they all have one thing in common. They not only have to look right, they have to function right. Right down to the copiers. For some, that means a personal copier. For others, a full-featured compact copier, or a high-performance system, or even the laser copier of the future at work right now. For these and everything in between, only one company gives business so many choices. In copiers, the choice is Canon.
Bill Veeck, who died of cardiac arrest today in Chicago, owned the Cleveland Indians and the Chicago White Sox and the St. Louis Browns, and in the minor leagues, the Milwaukee Brewers. He said his name should be pronounced Veeck, as in wreck. For more than 4 decades, he joyously battled the established way of doing things in baseball. Bob Fall remembers the man who spent a lifetime having the time of his life.
3
Bill Veeck was an original who hated stuffed shirts as much as the ties he refused to wear. An ex-Marine who lost a leg fighting in World War II, who sometimes used the peg leg he hobbled around on as an ashtray. Despite 30 operations for various ailments, Veeck never stopped laughing. I feel pretty good for a balding old man with one leg who can't see or hear, he'd like to say.
I have trouble once in a while getting up and down the bleachers, but I make it.
He made it as baseball's Barnum, the first owner to set off an exploding scoreboard, to put a shower in the bleachers, to hand out orchids on Ladies' Day, to hold games in the morning with orange juice and cereal free.
What's behind your theory of showmanship in baseball?
Well, I happen to have a very ridiculous theory, according to many ball club operators, that it should be fun.
To make it fun, Bill Veeck even sent a midget up to bat in St. Louis in 1951. The midget walked on 4 pitches. He was the first American League owner to hire a black player, Larry Doby, the first to put names on uniforms and to put his players in shorts. Use gimmicks, said Veeck, but also treat fans like they're guests in your home.
Well, look at the scoreboards that they say, cheer. Well, that's presumptuous. If a guy doesn't know when he wants to cheer, why should some joker run the scoreboard tell him?
As baseball turned into a bigger business and took itself more seriously, the baseball establishment grew tired of the nonconformists who tried to bring laughter into ballparks. Forced to sell his last club, Veeck returned to the bleachers and to his favorite role, the fan.
Not much I want personally. Love, pleasure, fun, and go to the ball games.
Bill Veeck was 71. His life, he said, had been delightful. Bob Fall, CBS News, Chicago.
And that's the CBS Evening News for this Thursday. I'm Charles Kuralt, sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. Good night.
Staying healthy on this job means being careful around the machinery. When the noise and glare give me a headache, I'm just as careful about my pain reliever. It's Tylenol. You know what convinced me? When I sprained my ankle and went to the hospital, they gave me Tylenol. It handled the pain without upsetting my stomach like aspirin used to. Seems Tylenol is the pain reliever hospitals use most, more than aspirin or any other type of pain reliever. If hospitals trust Tylenol, so can I.
Trust Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
There's a great new way to knock out bad breath. New Chlorette stick gum. It's the only stick gum that has Actazole with chlorophyll to fight bad breath. Knock out bad breath with Chlorette, the breath deodorant.
Professional dental technicians use instruments like this to remove denture stain. Efferdent's powerful Blue Action formula can help you keep that professional looking clean. Professional strength Efferdent removes even stubborn stains between teeth.
Tums doesn't have it. Rolaids doesn't have it. Malox Plus does. We have what you need for complete relief of excess acid, heartburn, and gas. You need Malox, America's #1 antacid for excess acid and heartburn, plus the #1 reliever of painful gas pressure. Now both come in handy roll packs of Malox Plus tablets and fast-acting liquid. Compared to these others, only Malox Plus has all that, plus a great Swiss cream flavor. Get complete relief. Try Malox Plus.
Tonight, Magnum's out to stop a carnival killer.
Easy, fella.
Before he sticks it to Rick. Magnum, tonight.
This is CBS.
Coming up next on Eyewitness News at 6, Tennessee players and fans are still celebrating over that sweet as sugar victory in New Orleans. We'll have a live Satellite 5 report on the festivities in Knoxville this afternoon. And the Nashville cab driver was murdered this morning. These stories, plus a lot more, next on Eyewitness News. Join me.